Chapter 2 Once Upon a Time in Big Sur, read by Michael Houston.
Siddhartha Gupta was never able to fully fathom why Nathalie Dubois had abruptly decided, after abstentiously spending an idyllic week in Carmel that fateful summer with her visiting mother from France, to forego returning to the fall quarter at UCLA Dental School and instead, right at the outset of her final year, take a leave of absence. A disruption of one momentum at that crucial junction could spell doom and result in never returning to one's studies again. Therefore, Siddhartha harbored secretly the fear that Nathalie had indeed taken leave of her senses when he, as gently as possible, hinted as much as to her over the phone on what was to be their last call for quite some time. Nathalie reacted like nitroglycerin. After calming down, she dispassionately explained that she was far from having a nervous breakdown, if that was what Siddhartha's remark had intended to so rudely imply. Calming down, she dispassionately explained that she was far from having a nervous breakdown, if that was what Siddhartha's remark had intended so rudely to imply. She was simply in need of a much-deserved reprieve from the undeniable rigors of her academic schedule. If Nathalie had, consequently, seen fit to take a job as a bus girl at the Nepenthe restaurant in Big Sur, while conveniently finding lodging in a nearby goat house, so called because it was small, possessed of certain rustic charm, and not incidentally lacking indoor plumbing, that was none of Siddhartha's business. Besides, she was completely free to take regular trips to the main house for the use of the facilities as needed. When, much to Siddhartha's relief, Nathalie did return as promised in the late winter the following year to pick up exactly where she'd left off, as if nothing out of the ordinary had happened in the interim, the situation only seemed to grow in complexity. For, indeed, not only did Nathalie Dubois return, but she also did not return alone. Cradled in her arms was a baby for whom she proffered no explanation. Siddhartha, tactically, did not press her friend for details. The situation was, no doubt, sensitive, and Nathalie, he felt sure, would be forthcoming with those details when the time was right. Even when he tried jokingly to coax more information out of her by asking playfully what exactly she had done all those long and lonely nights in Big Sur, she seemed to bristle indignantly and replied succinctly, "I went to bed quite early every night with Agatha Christie, if you must know." "Ah, Hercule Poirot," he nodded knowingly. "And Tommy and Tuppence," she shot back pointedly. Even worse than expected, a three-way," he murmured suggestively, hoping to get a laugh as he arched an eyebrow in comic effect. Alas, the effect was anything but, eliciting instead an almost hostile response. "My mother was there too, you know, the whole time." "I didn't actually," Siddhartha answered, point blank, glad that his kidding had at least induced a new piece of the puzzle. "She stayed until the baby was safely born," Nathalie further elucidated. "Generous of her," Siddhartha went on, well-meaningly observed, thinking 9 months too a liberal amount of time to extend to one's vacation, even if it was just to help a daughter in distress. Nathalie, it would seem, owed her mother a debt of gratitude, and yet her only response was to shake her head disparagingly and roll her eyes. At what, he wondered? Probably at what she considered to be his colossal knack for misreading situations and always saying the wrong thing. In any case, the subject was dropped, and neither of them ever brought it up again. The strange coincidence that Jean Noel had chosen to take a leave of absence at the exact same crucial juncture as his mother had so many years ago did not bode well with Nathalie. Her son, after all, was well on his way to becoming a third-generation dentist in the Dubois family, because her own beloved father, Henri, in whose footsteps she had followed, was now retired dentist, living comfortably with her mother, Zuzu, in Paris. Even her mother, in keeping with the family tradition, had been a dental hygienist when her parents had first met. No one, not Alice or anyone else for that matter, would be allowed to just waltz in and threaten the trajectory of Jean Noel's imminent success. Nathalie would single-handedly protect him from all harm and corral him safely back to the fold by any means necessary. For all she knew, this rash decision to rush into marriage was being predicated by something other than her own illness. Alice might well be pregnant, and that could disrupt Jean Noel's momentum forever. And while Nathalie didn't know this for a fact, she could not afford to rule it out, knowing as she did only too well how easily it could happen.